Well, good afternoon. Tom Ginn, G-Force. G is for gratitude. I believe gratitude is one of the most powerful concepts we can incorporate in our life. I call it the mortar between the bricks of life. It negates negativity. It gives you different perspective. It brings you hope in times of difficulty. So understanding the power of gratitude is an element that I encourage anybody to continue to investigate and look into on a much deeper level. But I am so grateful for this moment because this is the most important moment of my life. And how I address this will dictate what happens in the future. So I'm so grateful this moment. But I'm also really grateful to introduce my guest. Now, my guest, we've crossed paths through the Grow Live Academy. And through that process, Troy Aberle, our guest, is also a personal development coach, has also been trained in the disciplines from the Proctor Gallagher Institute, Bob Proctor, Thinking to Results. So I'm really excited to talk to a colleague and how the topic of personal development has impacted himself, his life, his family. And we're just going to have some just open conversation today. So with that all said, Troy, raise your hand. Are you ready to come in, bud?
Ready to rock.
We are ready to rock. Good afternoon. Thanks for being here.
Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity to be here. And I'm extremely grateful myself to be able to have this type of dialogue and be able to share to you and your audience and all the people around the globe that can use the impact that we have for people.
Yeah, it's, knowing your a little bit about your background, I'm really excited to, because we all have a story. Many times we look at our lives and we think we got it really bad until we see somebody else's story. Or a lot of times people see us in a role of perceived success and they believe that they can never obtain those things. So today, I hope our conversation will just bring new level of awareness in and around how to grow personally, collectively with your family, your business, those type of things. So why don't you open up a little bit about yourself, where you're from, a little bit about your background, and we'll go from there.
No, thank you for that. Personal development has been the absolute turning point for my life. And anybody who's watching, if you've heard the term for sure, invest in yourself, or maybe get a coach, or you got to figure out a different way, and you got to give it a different meaning. But you can't take this terminology lightly, because the only possible way that you're going to be able to change your outcome is being able to get really in tune with what it is that you want in your life, and you being able to figure out exactly what those goals are, how that's going to impact you personally, but also how it's going to impact your family and also the people that you work with every day. When I really decided to become aware of what exactly it is I wanted, that's when my life changed, because I could do that. And then I could start to realize that I wasn't surrounded by anybody who was going to get me there. What I had to do is I had to go out and change the people I was surrounded by, find the right mentors that were going to get me my goal, and change myself, not only mentally, but also with the physiology or the actions that I was taking each and every day. And you see what happens is, do you want me to go on a little bit about my story, Tom?
Oh, absolutely. A little bit about, where you're from, your background.
Well, I'm from Calgary, Alberta, Canada. And what's really cool about, my story that I'm proud of today is understanding where my life was before and where it is today. And let me just go back, because I really feel like I came from an average, a hardworking agriculture community. My parents had a farm. My mom was a nurse. My dad worked in oil and gas. We just learned really good ethics and good values. And, there's a lot of just that common thing of what we were doing. But I wanted more. I needed another level, and I didn't know how to get there. And I was, I was starting to develop a lot of negativity, surrounded by people that weren't, felt like they were always working against me, not for me or supporting me. And, at the age of 34, I had to decide even that I was becoming addicted to alcohol and a lot of things that were just really, really harming me. But the one thing that came into my mind was I'd actually went back and I'd found an old set of tapes that were wrecked. So I had to upgrade to the CDs for Tony Robbins. And I had to, and because the one book that changed my life was actually Awaken the Giant Within. And when I read that from Tony and really started to apply it, and I started listening to the CDs over and over again, I understood that there was a lot more in me that I was going to really unleash and tap into. And so I started getting so involved in that, and I had to decide, right there and then, after, a while of really looking at what was happening in my life. And I had to, I created what was called, actually turned into a program for me, Thomas. It was Create and Live Chapter 2. And I had to define that as of 0 to 34 years old, that was my chapter 1. And that chapter 1, I had to look at and figure out all the things that I was either eating, what I was saying in my life, what was my physical health, my relationships. I had to look, what was my spiritual life looking like. I had to look at all of the components that were actually preventing me from getting my goals. And my goals were, I wanted to make 6 figures, is what I had said. I didn't have a number in my head. I just simply said, I want to make over $100K per year. And, I was making, I think my best year ever was $43,000. And I was borderline alcoholic. I was depressed, stressed. I had acid reflux. I had, just all the things going against me. I was around people that just weren't good. But that's the average. If you really look at 90% of America right now, is definitely that's what's happening, right? Or Canada, wherever you are, is 90% of the people only make 10% of the money. I decided that I want to be the 10% that makes 90% of the money. So what I had to do was change all these things. So I said, well, from 34 years old to 118 years old, because I was going to eat a little bit healthier and have broccoli maybe. But 118 is where I feel like I'm going to check out at. And I wanted to make sure that that was my chapter 2. So to be able to do that, I needed to really understand what it was that I needed to do to get those goals, how I was going to make 6 figures, how I was going to be able to, adapt that new set of life. And that's really what started my chapter 2. So really, then I became immersed. I became certified with Tony Robbins, and I was coaching under what he does. But I also needed to take it even to a new level, even beyond that. And so fast forward, I've been coaching for technically 15 years, but as a business for 9. And, I'm so proud to be able to say that, I've learned from a lot of great people, Brendan Burchard, Chet Holmes for sales. But the guy that really changed my life is somebody you and I share a lot in common with, is Bob Proctor. Because Bob Proctor still was showing me that I had a paradigm that was blocking me. And that paradigm was coming, which is a multitude of habits and actions that you're putting together, beliefs. And those things were happening in a way that was still holding me back. I still wasn't fully being able to believe in what it was that I was potentially able to do. So now, obviously, my income completely exploded, and more than 10x that or 20 times, or whatever. But it doesn't matter. The part is where I became extremely wealthy was in my mind, and the people that I'm surrounded with, and then also the impact that I'm able to deliver to people. That's where the true wealth comes in. And so when you really look at, for my story, is going from, an average person with average goals, not happy, addicted to substances, eating crappy food, just around a real negative or a low frequency, maybe not negative, a low frequency, Tom. When you change that frequency and you start to really get in tune with what it's going to take you to get fired up every morning and feel just absolutely adrenaline, and really take that to the next level, that's what's really going to make an impact, because that's what's going to really look at yourself in the mirror and see how much potential you truly have. And you're going to see that in your family, and you're going to see that with the people that you're doing business with. And I look at my family today. I've got a 12-year-old and a 9-year-old and a beautiful wife that's my best friend. The thing is we are a product of the product. Because of all these things, I don't have to worry about what I grew up in. And that's nothing against my parents or anything before them. It's just the habits that they all gave me and my DNA. But you look at Luke or Everett or my wife, Robbie, all of those people now. My wife is a 2nd-degree black belt in Taekwondo. She's a trainer. She has a lot of expertise in many different things, investing and all that. But, my 9-year-old is doing, YouTube videos now and learning personal development. and he's doing Minecraft videos and architecture and all that. Then you have my son Luke, as you've met because he's in the mastermind with us. He's 12 years old, and he's a social media manager. He's reviewing tech products and camping gear, and he's teaching me. He does all my social media. When you have this much impact and vibrancy, this is when life changes for you. Because I'm not just someone selling this; I'm living it. And now I live by 3 words, Tom, is, learn, execute, and inspire. I'm learning every day, and I promise you I'm executing every day, and my passion is inspiring people every single day. If I can do that for people, my life is absolutely complete. And I know for a fact if I left this planet today, that the things I've already taught my kids are homeschooled. They're actually taking PGI, Proctor Gallagher, thinking of the results as part of their homeschooling, Tom. And, so they have gold cards, and, they're taking courses from Tony Robbins and teaching it to other kids their age. And, when you have that kind of thing going on and you look back now at so you get to decide, everybody, ladies and gentlemen, you get to decide today, do I want to be in the 90%? Because that's really what's happening, especially there's no more middle class, that's left. So you can either be in the 90% average, or you can be the top 10% champion. And it's as easy as deciding and getting surrounded with the right frequency.
I would like to just, you use the word frequency, and a lot of times people don't really understand what frequency is. The frequency identifies what state we're in at an emotional level, whether negative, fear and anger,
yep.
Whatever. Those are emotions. That's a frequency that identifies where we're at any given time. And then how do you recognize that? That's what Bob really helps better understand, how to recognize it, how to shift that paradigm, that belief to this positive like that, and change that frequency. Is because if you can do that on a regular basis, you start bringing, like energy, like vibrations start coming to you. The right people with the right vibration start aligning with you, and that's what you become aware of. So I like what you said. Changing your circle, it changes your life as well. So
your frequency. I mean, I don't mean to be hard on music, because some people really resonate with different music. But I used to be a big person on listening to, I don't know, I hate to be hard on country music, because there's a lot of country music I really enjoy. But when you're listening to a song that's sappy and depressing, or you're listening to the news, or you're listening to people have limiting conversations, or they talk about government or religion, or they talk about things that just don't have anything that's of growth. That's negative frequency.
Yeah.
That's a low frequency. I shouldn't use the word negative. It's a low frequency. Did you know you can study, it's been proven now, they can actually measure the frequency, the energy level of food, right? This isn't anything new, but they can actually tell that a piece of cake is 5 megahertz, whereas a piece of broccoli is 45. But if you're eating bad food, and you're eating lots of sugar, and you wake up grumpy, and you have no goals, or you have no gratitude, especially on this show here, we got to talk about the number one way of changing your mind is gratitude. And if you have none of those things happening, you got to change it, because you're listening to some really crap, and your focus is off. Write this down, everybody. Your focus is off, your internal and your external language aren't there, and your physiology sucks. So I'll tell you what I did for a client of mine in India here last week. If she's watching, and she's going to laugh at this. So she calls me, she's having a complete meltdown because of COVID and all these things. So you know what I told her, Tom? I said, you got to change your frequency. She goes, well, how do you do that? I said, I need you to go find a chemical or the scent of what it is, your favorite kind that really sparks you up. Not lavender. I'm talking peppermint, something that fires you up, right? I need you to play the music that you listen to at a concert, that makes you dance. Maybe you're at an event or something, a Tony Robbins thing, whatever. You got to find the music. I need you to turn on some things about your life that you want to be like. Go look at your vision board, put a picture on your screen that's the biggest, fanciest house in the world. I don't know. Find whatever. Maybe it's just a brand new bicycle. I don't know. But you got to do that. And you have to, so you got your music, and you got to dance. You got to dance. And even if you feel so crappy that you still want to lay on the couch, you got to do that. And then you got to eat some food. Go get some vegetables. I made her do this for an hour. She said for at least 72 hours, maybe even 96 hours. She had a hard time getting to sleep in that time because she was so fired up and so energized. That's how quick you change your frequency. That's how quick you change your energy level. Or you can do what most people do. Go get a pale ice cream, play some sad, sulky blues music or something really boring, go lay down, turn the lights down low, and get really depressed. And then phone your friend who also is going to share that same depression with you. And that's how you change it. And you see what I mean? You can already feel it. Even as I say it, my voice changes. But as I talked about the other thing, I'm ready to go. I'm fired up.
Yeah, and that's something that, through this, I've been involved in this level of awareness through Bob and other mentors and coaches as well, is that it is a choice, and just being aware and then learning how do you change a paradigm, a belief system that's not serving the outcome you seek? That's programmed into you. Just having a want doesn't change anything. Would you agree?
Totally. You gotta live it.
You got to have a desire. It's the fuel,
Yeah.
like in Napoleon Hill. It's desire, because we operate at emotional levels. So you talk about goals. I also talk about goals, but how I get myself to look at goals is because goals by themselves don't work. Bob shared that with me. When I met with Bob for the first time, becoming a consultant, had my business plan, and he wanted to know what I was going to do. And through his questioning of me and talking to me, he just basically put the book down and says the best plans and best goals in the world won't work for you. Yeah. And I says, 100%. What? He says, you don't believe, Tom. You don't believe at a self-image level. And he asked me what I'd made in the past, and I told him. He says, you got a $1.2 million business plan. It's a perfect plan, but you've been programmed to operate in that area. And so just to expound on that is I wasn't clear on my why and my vision. I had a lot of goals. I had a lot of wants, but I didn't understand how you take those wants, turn them into a vibration or a frequency tied to an outcome that in your mind it's already done. And that changed everything. Bob had me do some exercise. You've probably been aware of some of these things. Say that your affirmations in front of the mirror for 5 minutes every day for 30 days and see what happens. That shifted me. So,
go ahead. Sorry, because I want to just add to you there. Do you know what's funny is I didn't realize this. I got a picture from the place where my wife was teaching Taekwondo. She made a vision board hung up on the wall. It's part of their exercise. Tom, 3 years ago, she made a vision board with the exact same house on it within 4 miles of where she said she was going to live in this house is exactly where we moved 4 hours away to the edge of the Rocky Mountains in the same house that she had on her vision board. When you completely design your life and you become, instead of I want something, like I said it in the beginning of the thing, you have to know what you want. That's step one. Now you decide you've already got it. You live it. If you want to be like a certain person, you live like that person. It's just that easy. It really is. I don't know how else to do it because and you can't do this someday. You start today. You can go onto your calendar today, go Control F on your keyboard. It will not find someday for you. There's nowhere in your calendar for someday. You got to pick today, and you got to start right now. And if you want to be a certain person, go live that certain person.
Yeah.
Be a millionaire or be a 10,000aire or whatever you want to be. If you want to be the best bicycle rider in the world, go get on a bike and start. That's what my 12-year-old always says. Just start. Yeah. And best advice ever is you have to have that vision. Look at the Olympics. The Olympics were just on. The world record does not get broke or get to the next level just because we have better running shoes. I mean, I guess it could. The truth is because someone's already envisioned a time or a goal that's already ahead of it, and they've already envisioned the entire race in their mind before they've even ran it. I already thought of this interview already last night and already played through most of it already last night in my head of exactly what I want because I'm living. I'm the product of the product. Do I need to learn? 100%.
Oh yeah. Can I say make a comment? What do you want? A lot of people, when I'm doing my coaching, you've probably encountered things, they don't know what they want. They're not clear on it. But this is what I help my clients understand. Identify what you don't want in your life.
Mm-hmm.
And then you'll start seeing those other things that start manifesting in relationship to your inner desires, the things that I call blow your hair back or that you resonate. So that's where I don't really know what I want. What don't you want in your life? Make that list and then cross it off and throw it away. And you'll start seeing the things that are important to you. I mean, that's something. My wife is the one that taught me that. So she, helping me. What do you want? I don't know. She says, what don't you want? That shifted everything. So
so beautifully said. And that Tom, back to my chapter 1, chapter 2 exercise. That's really what it was. I could write my goals and my wants at the top. So if I want to live in a certain house, or I want to make X amount of dollars, I want to drive a certain vehicle, right? Or I want my kids to have this, or I want to have certain friends, whatever. I needed to figure out that list. And that is exactly what I did. The list on chapter 1 was the things I didn't want to do anymore. I took scissors, I cut that page in half, and I took it on the back deck and I burnt it in the snow. It was wintertime. So on December 1st. And when you burn the list of stuff that is not serving you anymore, what a great feeling. When you completely on your second chapter of your life, and for some people you might say it's whatever, it might be in your 7th chapter, I don't know, but you gotta start a not to do list. Listen to Tom, what he just said, and make a not to do list. It's crazy how many things you do in the day, whether it's thoughts or actions, that are, you just gotta stop doing because it's not serving you. It's actually limiting you from your goal. And usually those are the things, if you really think about it, you feel are happening to you, never for you. You have gratitude that the things that are happening for you. There's lots of them. They're all around you. Being able to be on this show today and watching is something that's happening for you all day long, and that's the most beautiful thing in the world.
Hey, good afternoon, Robert. Glad you're here today. Share this out. Love Robert. He's part of our group as well.
He looks amazing with that tie on there, Tom.
Oh yeah, he's a handsome dude, so he makes the tie look good.
Exactly. No, you got to have vibration, Rand. You gotta be playing, and it's hard some days. It's easy to go back into that old paradigm. I don't know. I asked Bob that one time. I said, "Can you get rid of an old paradigm?" He said, "I don't know." He said, "I don't think you can, Troy." But he said, "What you can do is you can design one that becomes absolutely part of your new DNA, and just be aware of it, and just whatever, tuck it away. But get on your new one. And the more people that you share your wants and dreams and desires with, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, with the more people in your inner circle that you share it with, and you share it with such passion and conviction that you are already doing it, your inner circle will start to develop, and they'll sort themselves out, because those people that are really there for you are going to start helping you get it. That's how you're going to do it.
Thanks, Jerry.
Thanks, Jerry.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
So when were you introduced to Bob Proctor and the Proctor Gallagher? Went through the program, a certification program. How long ago was that?
Well, for me, I didn't become certified literally till this year. And for me, I had met the Bob Proctor coaching idea, just his things that he was doing way back when The Secret came out, and just loved every moment of it. If I had to pick one mentor, Bob is the interesting guy, because if I had to pick a mentor that's had a lot of impact, I don't know which one is the best. They've all had different things, but I do know what Bob does the best. He's taken all of the pieces of all of the other mentorship that I've worked with, and he's clarified it into that word paradigm, because I understood that I needed to make a new series of habits and beliefs. I had to do that. So why did I want to be a consultant? Honestly, Tom, one day I woke up and I said, you know what? I'm going to completely change my whole entire business. I don't want to be the guy that's trying to be the guru or the marketer and all these pieces. I'm going to learn. I'm going to literally deliver a product and partner and align myself with the guy that already does and lives this each and every single day. And I'm going to add that in that program with the PGI Thinking and Results program. And I'm going to tie that in with the things I've learned and executed on in my life with Tony, Brendan Bouchard, or Chad Holmes, all these people, right? I could go on Brian Tracy. Like, I mean, there's, but then there's the greats. There's the Jim Rohns, and you know, and the Napoleon Hills, all of these great people, and Mark Victor Hansen, and all of these great people that, you know, just I've had the privilege of either learning from, meeting, working with, all of that, and I love every single moment of my life, Tom, because of the people and the energy I'm around. So for me, no, my goal is I want to be I want to be the top influential Proctor Gallagher consultant that there is. Why? Because I think that every single person on this planet needs to hear such simple education that's literally going to change your life in weeks. There's nothing else to figure out. Just pay attention to this. Tom teaches it. I teach it. There's great people that are living this each and every day. And it's a privilege just to share this with people and be alongside guys like Tom that I look up to with immense respect, because Tom's the same thing. Tom's out there and he's delivering it. He's living it. He's working with it. And he's got a lot of experience too. And you don't have to worry about what you just worry about all the things you get to have gratitude for. You've learned so many things. Some of it sucks, whatever. But look at all of the gems you got to learn. Success leaves clues, as Tony would say. And you know what? I also say, so does failure. Being able to find the nuggets in the failures are so beautiful. So go ask lots of questions. As a common friend of ours, Mark Victor Hansen, he's got a great book. Read that book, most amazing book, because you start asking yourself questions and you ask your friends questions and just keep learning.
Yeah, that is a very important thing. And that's a true discovery, is you ask questions, and sometimes asking questions about why do you feel the way you do, sometimes not a comfortable thing to do, you know, so yep. But it is one, you know, it's powerful. Ask the questions. The answers will be revealed. And once you have the answers, you know whether they're in alignment to who you are and where you want to go. But asking those questions is so powerful in growth. So totally agree with you there. Making influences. When you started this journey, you know, you said you had, you know, a path that was not serving you with alcohol and those things. I had a path also with drug addiction and crazy stuff because I wasn't happy. It was, you know, I created a life that wasn't fulfilling to me, and I turned down a path that wasn't conducive to anything positive. But thank God I had a few mentors come in and woke me up. But it wasn't until about 6 years ago that I'd really understand why I was going down that path. And hopefully, you know, that I can help people recognize that there's a different road to go. And you've gone through a negative path as well. I think most of us have, one way or another, some degree. But now that you've gone through this process, transformation, whatever you want to call it, the influence you have on your family, what are some of the things that you changing yourself, what has that transferred into your family, friends, work associates, where the case may? What have you seen?
You know, the number one thing that ever really changed me and the people around me was learning the 6 human needs. When Tony Robbins taught that, and you can apply this to Bob Proctor stuff, you can apply this to anything else in the world, you universally have 6 human needs. Number one need is certainty. You want to feel secure and safe with what you're doing. It's why you turn the door handle with your one hand each time you drive down the same road. You know that you're not going to feel good after McDonald's, but you still go because you know the taste, right? It's just, you know the outcome. You want to feel that security. Number 2 is variety or uncertainty. You want to have some variety in your life. Everybody has that need for it. Number 3, you want to feel significant for what you do every day. You want to matter, and you want to feel good. You want someone to high five you. You want to high five yourself, you know. And if that self image isn't there, you don't have that significance. Number 4 is love and connection or relationships. Everybody, no matter how good or bad of a person you are, relationships are everything. And even if you're someone who lives up in the mountains by yourself, you still have a relationship with something. Maybe it's yourself or whatever. But number 5 is the need for growth. If you're not growing, you're dying, and in between is really boring. Unfortunately, a lot of people are there. And the number 6 is the need to be able to have contribution. When I understood that, Tom, That's what really changed it, because I could understand the needs that I wasn't meeting in my life. That's why alcohol worked. Why? Because alcohol, you know the outcome, you know the buzz, you know the uncertainty, or you're curious of the uncertainty. How am I going to feel today, right? If you're doing drugs, you're doing whatever, that's what happens. You feel significant because you've tuned out everything, you've numbed it. Now you feel like a hero, you're unstoppable. And you know what? You're actually able to share with more people because of you don't have any reservations. I mean, you're half torqued, if you will, or you're out of the consciousness. So for me to be able to understand that and being able to then help, if you want to contribute to every person around you today, help them achieve their 6 human needs. I don't care if it's your spouse, your child, yourself, your customer. If you just take a minute and say, how could I help them with all these human needs real fast? You will sell more, you'll create more impact and influence on them, and you will actually achieve all of your 6 human needs by helping other people achieve theirs. So when people say pay it forward, do all these things, I give, the reason why that's happening is because you're actually creating a fulfillment in all these human needs. And so when you right there, you're already starting to shape the new paradigm, right? Because you're doing this from a place of service. However, you have to make sure your human needs are fulfilled first, because otherwise you'll burn out, you'll implode, and you'll get back into something that'll make you get there, which will be alcohol or drugs, or maybe it's bullying. Bullies aren't bullies. It's just that's the way that they meet their human needs. It's just all of these things happen, and how people achieve their human needs is all in different methods. But if you're missing 2 or more, you have a massive problem and you have imbalance. So when I taught my kids that, it removed the need to worry about bullying. When I taught my children, how to fulfill those needs, how to help other people to fulfill, that's when things got really real, and you have those conversations. But when I combine all of this stuff together, Tom, that's when the kids, it just completely changed. And so when I go home, if I'm not having the best day, or if my family will coach me on exactly what it is that we live, and I'm fired back up, right? And we understand that terminology and how that works. So, that's something that's very important to us as a family and a community and with our friends.
That sort of leads me to a real good friend of mine here, Dr. John Kane, an educator, superintendent of schools and stuff, and understanding children behavior and how we all learn, including you and I. And I think this is a demonstration is as you change, children and people around you won't change because what you say. They change when they see you do. They will replicate what they see. And I think you making a transformation, your son, your wife, and your family saw the changes, and that's the influence. Because a lot of people are talking good game out there, but they're not walking the talk. And I think
all day.
Yeah. So, and that is where, and when Dr. Kane shared that with me, it sort of put some of the things Bob was talking about is as you become better, the people around you become better because you're giving, but you're not giving with any expectation in return.
Just
so
simply
the
giving.
Principle, right? So.
Yeah, I think that's so key. Like you look at, I don't know, like even little Everett, my son, he's 9. And, just the amount of advice, or just when he knows that someone's not doing well, or if it's a comment, it's a friend or what have you, just the support you're giving people and helping them talk through and help remind them of the things that are important to that friend. You become the world's greatest friend, versus you could have just simply walked away, or you could have bullied them. You could have been all those things. And I don't know, like Luke's big on that too. I mean, I watch Luke go to a store and he's helping people buy a camera. He doesn't sell cameras. He just notices, somebody that he could contribute to and add value to. Add value to people. You'll get a handful. I've never failed anybody with this, Tom. Like if people really want to live a different life and they communicate with the people they're around, I've never seen it not work, unless you don't believe it. If you're not living the way that you say you really want to live, or the way you're going to live, I don't know how you could fail. And I think that's where you hire a coach if you're not sure how to do it, or that's where you invest in a program, right? Don't invest in alcohol anymore. Take the exact same amount of investment that you did there and apply that to something else that does good for you and other people. But the emotional impact that comes from your body, your vibration, is going to give a feeling to other people. You can't help but feel good around people that are doing amazing, right? I mean, if you go to a funeral, it's very depressing. If you go to a rock concert, it's very go, go, go. When you get around that type of energy, you can only, you have to accept it and use it. And I think, I don't know how else to explain it, but I feel like a trillionaire when I'm fired up.
Like Bob says, and in other great thinkers of the past, is that everything operates by law. I mean, the vibration operates by law. If you change something in that frequency or vibration, you're going to get the same type of results in relationship to that vibration. So thinking, like what Bob says, thinking the results operates by law. And usually that's where people are struggling. They're not sure. They're frustrated. Is their thinking's out of order, and they don't understand that vibrational or that frequency then at an emotional level, and that, oh, now I'm in a worry, doubt state. Why am I? You ask that question, why am I feeling that way? And you learn how to reposition that thought with a direct opposite. And after a while through that process, you can instantaneously make that change, because you can't hold a negative and a positive thought at the same time.
No.
You can't do it.
Yeah.
And I do that with my coaching clients and my financial coaching. As many times there's a lot of conflict about the money. And I have them stand up and just look at each other in the eye, just reach out and hug them, and guess what happens? That's a positive experience. You can't hold that anger while you're hugging that person. So those are little exercises that you can recognize. You cannot hold.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's amazing. And then it breaks down that barrier, opens up that new flow of energy, frequency, and they go, oh, I like that feeling. That's where I want to be. Yep. So you have to analyze what you're thinking to get the feeling, the addiction, right? We're addicted to good feeling.
Yeah.
That's what we're seeking. Right? I think you mentioned that.
Well, actually, and you just kind of gave me a chill there, because, I think if you, no matter how you want to react to something, there's always two ways of reacting to it. You can change the polarity. Bob teaches this too, right? So if you think that someone, sent you an email and you're like, you can either read that email. That's why emojis had to come out, because you could either read that with two ways. One was it either came out angry or it was positive. And depending on your state and your mood is how you're going to react to that. Because if you're in a crappy state, what's going to happen? Tom sends you a thing and says, hey, can you go pick up the milk today? Well, so what's going to happen there is, you could either say, well, geez, he's not even taking anything, my feelings into consideration, just wants me to go do all of his crappy duties. Or it might be, hey, Tom wants me to get milk. He wants to go hang out. We're going to do this. You can change whatever you want. And people are either doing something to either gain pleasure or avoid pain. So everything that you react to today, just have gratitude. Here's something to be grateful for. You have the ability to write down everything that happens to you or for you, whatever you want to call it, today. And you get to actually look at it and say, am I reacting to this with negativity or defensiveness or positiveness, whatever way, or happiness, a smile? Am I doing this? Am I reacting this because I feel it's going to make me have pain or pleasure? 90% of the things we do all day long is try to avoid pain. That's why we want to make money. It's why I don't know, I could go on for hours about, but you think about it, you won't buy a car for most of the time for pleasure. Most of us buy a car because we don't want to be broke down with the hunk of junk we had before, or we're bored of it. We feel like we're not significant enough, so we buy a car. All of those things people buy a car for. Hardly ever does someone buy a car just because it makes them feel really good. It's hardly ever. And if salespeople actually figure that out, is that people are either doing something to gain pleasure or avoid pain, your sales will 10x with overnight. Yeah. Because you ask the questions that are going to find that out.
Yeah. I'm going to go back to what Robert put up here. And I just want to Thanks, Robert. I'm addicted to joy generation. You know, we hear this all the time. I'm seeking happiness. Well, happiness is just an instantaneous emotion or feeling. You can create that, boom.
Mm-hmm.
But I think what I've learned in my development is what people are really seeking is not just that instant happiness, but we're really seeking joy.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you look at joy, that's one of the highest levels of frequency or vibration next to love. You know, that's what we're seeking, that feeling and joy. Too many people are looking for just happiness, which is instant. It's fleeting. It'd be here right now and gone the next second. But what are you really seeking in relation to happiness, that higher state? Any comments there? I just
Give
wanted
gratitude. Gratitude. The more gratitude, and if you go and you ask somebody, and there we go. If you go and ask a friend right now, hey, question for you. It looks like, you're a person who's having a nice coffee. Just want to share with you that I'm really grateful that anything, I don't know, you pick, right? I'm grateful that we get to have a cup of coffee here today out in the patio and start, finding things. I'm really grateful that I quit watching the news. I mean, you can be grateful for anything, right? And I know some people make this into a cliche, but it's really hard to not be able to find joy when you're giving lots of gratitude. I mean, I'm thrilled with gratitude that I get to be on your show today and get to talk about gratitude and be able to teach people about frequency and energy and positiveness. Is there negativity in life? Of course, it's everywhere. But the more gratitude you give, the more you will tune out the crap.
Yeah.
It's impossible. You could go to a funeral today and laugh, and you will actually get more people to celebrate the life than just be worried about the loss. It is what it is, right? No matter what happens to you today, it is what it is. It really is. So go give gratitude for what that really is. Figure out how it can serve you, how it's part of your journey today, and go share your experience. Tell people about what happened today, even if it was crappy. We had a great mastermind. I did one last night for a group of ladies, and they all came to the table with things that were, kind of negative. The one lady, she had 2 people in her family pass away. Her dog jumped out of the vehicle moving. I couldn't believe this. And she had a lot of things going on that weren't happening great. Instead of consoling her with her or saying, I'm sorry to hear that, what the first question out of my mouth was? I said, Kristen, tell me something. What happened good today? And boom, because of what you said, Tom, we're programmed to want to be joy. So what did she do? She instantaneously had a pattern interrupt and started talking about the good things. And it changed her whole state. Then when she was talking about the people that passed away, it was in another place. Right?
Yeah.
I can't say enough about gratitude and attitude.
Yeah.
You're grateful with an attitude. That attitude's everything. If your attitude's in a bad place, go do what I said earlier. Go find a room, put in some earbuds, play some good music, smell something very inspiring, right? With a good frequency and energy to it. Eat clean food, dance. And even if you don't dance, go hire. And if you feel like you're on the couch, go pay someone $20 to drive behind you and scream, run. I don't know. Just go do it. Get moving. Motion affects emotion. And when you get all these senses going, just go fire it up. Go fire it up and then tell people, hey, guess what? Today I felt really cranky and pissed off. I actually thought about punching holes in the wall. But you know what I did? I went out for a run. I played some good music, and I did it till I almost passed out. And I had some great food, drank tons of water, and I'm fired up. Share that with people. That's contributing to people's human needs. That's contributing to your own mindset. And that's when you program those things, you're going to get a positive emotion. That emotion feels amazing to you. It creates all the endorphins and all those things in your body that are supposed to feel good. I'm not going to get into the science today. It just does a whole bunch of crazy, awesome things in your body, and it feels good. And as I tell you guys this, I'm jittery. Like I feel like my back is like tingling, right? And it's good sweats because my body I'm happy to share with you. I could tell you about all the crappy things that happened over the last 24 hours to somebody, but I choose not to allow it into my life. And I don't care about things that I can't change anymore. I don't care about politics or how the world's reacting to COVID or whatever. I'm just going to wash my hands more, I guess. I don't know, but I'm just going to live life with so much gratitude and fulfillment. And I'm not going to worry about rules and policies and all that. People want to have policies and do whatever they want to do. That's up to them. Go do that. I'm not going to give you my opinion. I don't care. I really don't. I just want to make sure that I serve people.
And the best way to serve people is serve yourself first. Bring the best of you out, because we can't influence the world until we get better.
Totally.
We can't do
Totally.
that. And so we impact ourselves. You've impacted your family, and that's going to create a whole legacy thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Different than probably 95, 98% of the families out there is what you're creating a new paradigm of thinking and beliefs and understanding self-image and those type of things, because that's where we operate. You know, you can't outperform a belief that you have, and you can't outperform your self-image. But the beautiful thing is you can change your beliefs, and number two, you can change your internal self-image, not the external. People wait. Their image is based on a facade of masks.
Yeah.
But I'm talking the real, authentic you.
Yeah.
Your self-image. When you look in the mirror in the morning, you love yourself.
Yeah.
You love yourself. And we are human beings, and we do make mistakes. We ask for forgiveness. So a lot of our thinking is spiritually aligned, and the universe operates by law. Everything operates by law. And that's why people are frustrated today. They don't understand. They've got the order of things, of priorities, of thinking out of order. And once we get those in order, life becomes easy. I didn't say easier. It comes with ease. Yeah, you're going to have problems. There's going to be deaths. There's going to be setbacks. But what happens is now you're not in a reactive mode. You're now in what? A responsive mode to deal with it in a different framework. And I think gratitude does that, because you can't, what can I take from this stinking situation and build on it and go in a different direction? Gratitude.
I love it when you love yourself. Yeah.
You gotta love that. Yourself. When you love yourself, you can love other people.
Look in the mirror and just really get really happy.
Yeah.
Get really happy where you're going. Pinch your own butt. Don't worry about someone else doing it. Everybody's worried about getting accepted by everybody else, and that's why they want to join on bandwagons that they think are going to fulfill their desires and their human needs. You got to define your own. Some of the coolest people in the world have really just figured out how to be themselves in their own skin, in their own body, in their own surroundings. Those are the people, to me, that I love being around, because nothing's fake. I don't know what the right thing is. I don't know what the ideal body weight is. I don't know what you're supposed to perfectly say or think, or your hair, or what. I don't know what. We keep listening to what everybody else thinks it should be as a trend. Just go be you. If you don't want to comb your hair for the rest of your life, who cares? Just go out and be you. That's what will make you attractive. Look at how many actors, like I was thinking of, been paid millions of dollars that get tired of faking it on the show. And we get tired of watching them fake it. At some point that starts to break down. When you're truly you, those are the TV shows that go on for decades. Because people want to be true.
Yeah, truth. We know truth. Intuition. We know that that we are in tune to one of our mental faculties, intuition. It's always right on, because it's telling you by vibration or frequency, and that's truth. It could be negative. It could be that intuition of fear, doubt, and worry, and all those things, but also tells you the truth on the opposite side of that coin. So,
well, next week, when you're doing an interview with my son Luke, you'll have the youngest little kidpreneur on your show, and just play this interview and then play his, and you'll see exactly what I'm saying about energy. The exact same energy comes from this 12-year-old.
Yeah.
Why? Because that's how we roll. There's nothing fake about it.
No.
So just enjoy the journey. Don't worry about what car you drive or what house, whatever. If you want a house, go get the house. Just buy it. Don't worry about saving money on it. Go figure it out. Your life will align with it.
Yeah. And
There's
get
no
back to
someday.
that.
It's today. Today.
Yeah. And get back to that childlike state.
Yeah.
That fantasy state. I'm not talking wall fantasy, but that fantasy that you could see it in your mind, you could feel it in your mind like a kid. I was a pirate when I was a kid, man. And when I was playing pirate, it was as real as it's real, you know?
Yeah.
That's where we need to get in accomplishing whatever we want in life. Is we're worried about what everybody else thinks, what culture says we should do. But we got to get back to that state where we get all the barriers out of the way. Children don't have barriers.
No.
They don't.
It's our barriers.
Put them on them, right? Until we dump our crap on them, or culture puts their crap on them, and then they squish their creativity and their dreams down because they want, now we got to conform to something else instead of being me.
And we pulled our kids out of homeschool, Tom, because I would go to the school and I would talk about this and I would say, we need an opportunity to learn how to do things differently. But they don't know any different either, because that's how their paradigm is, the teachers, right? So the problem is it was conditioning my kids' outcomes to be completely different than what I wanted. So how do I make that different? Well, guess what? We're going to do it ourselves. But we're not just going to do it ourselves and become these people who don't interact with people. No, Luke's on the same mastermind calls as you and I are, and right, and my wife's involved, and my other son, and all these, and we're doing this stuff because this is what we're going to do. We're going to teach other people this.
Yeah.
And so for every client of mine, when I work with them, Tom, is I don't just talk to you about you. I want to know how we're going to impact your family. I want to know how we're going to impact your team. I want to know how we're going to be able to implement all these things through every single part of your life so that you become wealthy, not only at home, but at work and in yourself. That's how we roll. That's how we do it. And when you implement all of this strategies and techniques and the things that are going to really change your life, you can't help but have just an amazing transformation. I've lived it. I've been there. Tom's lived it and been there, and we're doing it every day. And that's what's awesome.
That's what blows my hair back. That's what I get up in the morning for. And
your hair does look amazing today. It does look blown back.
A little blown back, yeah.
Mine's a little frizzy, but yeah.
We've got a hard stop coming up here, but that's sort of what you mentioned, Luke. I just want to do a plug for next week because I think as we become better and we can see an end result, not in just ourselves, because that's ego lots of times, right? We want to have an ego. It's either destructive or creative, one of the two, or somewhere in between. But really look around. And when I saw Luke for the first time a few weeks ago on the Grow Live Academy, there's an old sage there. He's older. He's got that, what do you call it? He's beyond his age and wisdom, for sure.
Yeah. It's
beyond even what you've given him, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's weird because when you talk to him, I've taken him to some of the biggest business deals I've ever done in my whole life. I remember sitting there listening to him talk. We were doing a $16 million deal on some equipment that I was working on, and he's sitting there, he's learning all this stuff, he's doing this stuff, and he understands what people really want, and no, he's really good. And the reason why I talk about business and all these things, I don't block my kids from anything. My kids are everything about this, and you would look good in dreadlocks. So no, but what I'm getting at is with Luke. Yes, Luke's really an inspiring young man. He's 12, like I said. LukesView.com is his company. The funny thing is he works. Just real quick, so Chad Holmes was the guy who taught me about sales. Massive influence on me and on my sales skills. Chad passed away, God bless him, but his daughter Amanda took over the company, And now my little 12-year-old works just about full time. Well, I'd call it full time, and does social media work for her. And who would have thought how So when you create this energy and this vibration, ladies and gentlemen, and you involve your kids and you involve your spouse and all the people around you, like I've been saying here on this call today, it all becomes reciprocal. Energy is neither created nor destroyed, and the same thing applies to the energy in your life. It will keep flowing. So who would have thought that a little 12-year-old is now working for a multinational company that actually was the one who trained his dad 20 years ago, right?
Unbelievable. That's
why
all is possible.
All is possible. So go to lukesview.com if you want a little plug for the little guy. And
yeah, we're going to promote him all next week. Turn on your notifications for next week. Are we going to be doing Luke at the same time, noon Mountain Time, 1 p.m.?
Yeah, we'll do it. Yeah, same time. And then, we'll have a lot of fun. But yeah, Luke needs no extra. He's been really good. So, take a look at those 6 human needs I was talking about, ladies and gentlemen. Go figure out how to help your spouse, yourself, and your kids. Figure out how to be able to really give that impact. Right?
Yeah. And besides those 6 points there, Maslow, 3 basic needs. Do you see me? Do you hear me? And do you care? If you can put yourself in that place with other people, you're going to make an impact in people's lives in a positive way. That's a need that we all have. Do you see me? Do you hear me? And do you really care?
Yeah.
And that's how I want to live my life. I want to hear people, see people, and then demonstrate to my best of my ability.
You're doing a good job of it, Tom. I appreciate you. I appreciate this show. And I love G-Force. I love that name. It's awesome.
Thank you. A lot of people thought it was associated with my name, but it's not. I put a lot of thought into it. Hi, Lona. How you doing? Thanks for jumping on today.
Hey, Lona.
As I see what Lona says here. Children dream and imagine, and I think as adults, we tend to normalize them with adult words we have heard when we were young. You can't, or good luck. What a shame. Great point, Lona. Yeah. Mm-hmm. We allow the culture, we allow the influences of our environment to shape us, that it's really not who we are. So great point. I appreciate you being here, share this out. Well, my friend, I think, we could spend, I look forward to having you back again. We may be diving in some lessons specifically in the future.
Yeah, love to.
And I look forward to having Luke on next week. So everybody turn on your notifications. To get a hold of Troy, to learn more about what he does, the banner below, coachtroy.ca, and his email is coach@troyaberle.com. So reach out to Troy anytime you have a need, have questions, or whatever. He's here to help you. So, it seems like we're kindred spirits just a few times we've talked.
Oh, I appreciate you. I love the synergy. It's I could do this show every single week. So 100%, Tom. Appreciate you.
Well, if you had your last name with a G, it would make you part of the G-Force. No, I'm kidding.
I have made changes to things.
Good thing it's not tied to a name. We're good.
We'll do Aberle. Yeah.
There we go, Aberle. That'd be a great one. Well, my friend, I'm going to put you in the back room. You got to run. I've got to get ready for a pretty big event coming up this afternoon in the next half hour. So God bless you, my friend.
And everybody watching, make sure that you share this show out with people, because honestly, teaching them to really just be around gratitude is going to pay back dividends for the rest of your life. So make sure the show is shared with all your friends. Share it 5 times for Tom and the people he's able to surround himself with. So
thank you very much. I appreciate it. Well, we're going to close down, and I'm going to put you in the back room, and hold on just a minute. Wow. An hour seems like 30 seconds. It's amazing when you get in that frequency, you get in the vibration, you're with people of like mind, people working in concert to make differences in people's lives. It is such a blessing. And I just encourage people to, if you're in a negative state, or change your circle, change your thinking. And the best way to do that is maybe reach out to Troy or myself. Maybe we can guide you in a direction that would make a radical change in your life. But it is with gratitude. This moment's the most important moment of your life. Cherish it, value it, because what you do with that thought moving forward can change your life collectively over the long term. So it's with gratitude. Thank you for being here. We're signing out. God bless everybody.